You're welcome back to the program, everyone, and we still have a full panel, if I may say, in the studios with us tonight, and we're still talking security. In our Abuja studio, we have the media advisor to the president, Mr. Femi Adesina, and with him is a spokesperson of the People's Democratic Party's Presidential Campaign Council, Mr. Afegbua, and right next to Mr. Kasim is the Chairman House Committee on National Security and Intelligence, Honorable Aminu Jaji. And let's come back to our Lagos studio where we have with us retired Major General Umahi. Thank you for staying with us on the program. Now, before we went on the break, you were giving us a scenario. Please, can you land?
Yes, so that picture I painted was what happened in a kidnapping incident in my state. And such a thing could happen when there is a security gap, where a governor who answers chief security officer of his state does not control even one security agent. So he knows the security requirements of his state. If there is state police, he knows how to deploy them. He knows how to plow his security funds towards addressing the security problems in his state. Now, if you have people from my state taking care of the security of my state, they will be more accountable to the people of my state. And the governor will have funds that he will need to deploy to justify his activity, his effectiveness as a governor.
But General Umahi, people have said we're probably not ready for this, that there's a tendency to probably abuse
It is being abused now. The federal police is being abused now. So if it will be abused at the state level, it could only be for a while. We are getting wiser. What we were yesterday is different from what we are today. So I don't think that is a good excuse where people are dying every day. The issue of our security needs overwhelms that excuse of possibility of being abused. So I don't think any person who loves this nation, who loves the security of individuals and property in this nation should present that. It's a lame argument. It's very lame.
Right.
We need security, state police as early as yesterday.
Interesting. Now that we're talking solutions, which is important, I mean, I don't just want us to do a lot of talking without actions, and we expect that the government, of course, will take note. Mr. Afegbua, you are a member of opposition People's Democratic Party, and in recent times, your party has come out to criticize the government. Now, what are the solutions you are pushing forward, as it were, as a party to solve the security challenge in the country?
Well, you should be asking me what we will do, but when we trounce the APC at the tribunal, when a new leadership will come on stream,
in 2015,
and to that extent, we want a community policing system. Just like he said, if you look at our policy document, we spoke very eloquently about state policing and the need for restructuring of the country. We also spoke about the need to do complete, overhaul of our security architecture. The first thing we will do when we come to power in less than a year from now through the tribunal is to flush out all the service chiefs who have overstayed their welcome, who have become, more or less part of the problem rather than being solutions to the problem, whether you like it or not, so that in the final analysis, we can connect with the Nigerian people, provide employment, help people to recover their job losses, so that they will have something to do on a daily basis.
But Mr. Afegbua,
the idle mind is the devil's workshop.
Mr. Afegbua, for example, you have talked about state policing also.
Security in the country as we speak.
Mr. Afegbua, you have talked about state policing, but we're at a stage where some state governors, for example, cannot afford to pay salaries according to them. So is this sustainable, looking at it from that angle?
Every state governor, I have served in the state government before as a commissioner. Every state governor has the capacity to pay salaries of those who are in his employ. Except such state governor does not understand the rudiments of what it takes to be a governor, number one, and the kind of, or the size of the workforce that will help him to drive his policies and programs as captured in the state policy.
Right.
So every state governor, like I did identify last week, hardly tells you exactly the number of staff or civil service or civil servants in the state.
Okay.
This is like an operational secret. But if they are able to disclose the true number of civil servants, you will discover that even the salary they say they can pay times 2 of that salary.
Okay, Mr. Afegbua, if I may at this moment, I'd like to just put this question to Mr. Adesina because of our time. Mr. Adesina, you've listened to Mr. Afegbua saying that the service chiefs have, according to him, have not been as competent as you would expect. Do you think
they overstayed their welcome?
Okay, well, those were his words. Do you think that is a fair assessment?
It's not for him to even assess. But dreams cost nothing. Mr. Afegbua sits there and is dreaming. Well, he doesn't pay for dreams. He can continue dreaming. He says they will get a mandate at the tribunal. A mandate that does not exist. A mandate that does not see, I didn't interrupt you when you were talking. A mandate that does not exist cannot be given by a tribunal. That mandate does not exist. And you see, the general has set a good template for this discussion, prescribing things that can be done. And I would have preferred that we go forward in that fashion. But Mr. Afegbua keeps politicizing it. He was in APC till last August. I don't know the color of currency they showed him that made him port to PDP. But that is his personal business. The way forward is what we are looking at. Security is a national challenge now. And what I'd like to say is that it's not only the federal government that should see to it. It's the duty of government to protect lives and properties, but let's not forget that we have the federal government, we have the state government, we have the local government, we even have traditional authorities.
Okay, Mr. Adesina, because of our time, I'd like to cut you short there and get final words from Honorable Jaji. Honorable Jaji, your final thoughts on this briefly before we come to our Lagos studio.
Okay, what I can say, you know, as a way out, all the solution is for the National Assembly and the executive to come together so that to amend some of the acts, so that then the security agencies will be working together.
Okay.
Because as one of the major challenges that I can understand as a chairman is there is no working synergy within the security agencies. That I can say that one.
Right.
And then you know, most of the perpetrators you have to be taking them so that to court, so that the judiciary has to play a significant role, so that in addressing this issue. And then thirdly, you know, most of the state governors, you know, part of the problem that we have, there is no functional skill acquisition center in most of the state, and then that is the reason why most of these people are becoming.
I think that's a good place. So I think that's a good place to let it lie, so we can hear the thoughts of General Umahi here in the studio. Thank you, so, General Umahi. It appears tonight everybody is aligning with you. You seem to be the one everybody's aligning with. Mr. Femi Adesina has aligned with you. Mr. Kasim Afegbua has aligned with you. Honorable Jaji has aligned with you. So as a parting note, how do we move forward?
I want to put a few things in perspective. Number one, I want Nigerians to know that fighting terrorism is slow, is grinding, is frustrating, and is as messy as drinking tea with a knife.
But it's possible.
Why not? It's possible.
Right.
Terrorists have been defeated in other parts of the world. They've just been defeated in Syria. They can be defeated in Nigeria. But we need to put our hearts together. You see, the security agencies, one cannot say that they have done their best. Their best is yet to come. But it is easy to take a pot shot at them. The job they are doing is risky. Nigerians should appreciate them for that. And I also want to say, especially to Femi, Femi, I want you to find out this. Nigeria does not have internal security doctrine. Some people may tell you we have, But it's not true. Internal security doctrine involves.
All right.
I should stop?
Well, because of our time, I understand that this conversation will continue, but I'm sure they have listened to you. I'd like to thank you very much, our guests tonight, for joining us on the program, Mr. Femi Adesina, Mr. Kasim Afegbua, as well as Honorable Aminu Jaji. Thank you so much for joining us on the program and sharing your thoughts. And for us here, retired Major General Obiumai, I'd like to appreciate you. Well, that's the show tonight, everyone. A major thank you for watching. I am Kayode Okikiolu. Have a beautiful evening.